back. This is Wild One. I got a little carried away in the last video and in fact lost count of the number of turns that I had played. I knew I had started at turn 16, which was the synthetic, but at some point I thought I was on turn 22. It turned out I was on turn 24. By the time I had finished, I had gone through turn 26. We're back to the scout again for turn 27. I had to reverse engineer the hive deck basically to determine what turn I was on. I went through and counted all of the discarded hazards and events and all of the dead enemies, looking at what was out here, the ventilation seal, the fact that I had grabbed Jonesy and he was in the synthetic. Those were all cards that were out of the hive deck. And I eventually reached the conclusion that I had just finished turn 26. There are 10 cards left in here, and there were a total of 39 cards to start. So there were 33 plus the 6 drone cards for a total of 39. There's 10 left, so that's 29. There were 3 cards I had to pull off the hive deck outside of the standard hive phase pull, and those were due to the first 2 hazards. The first hazard was to add 2 hive cards to the complex, and the second hazard was to take the top card from the hive deck and stick it in the combat zone. And that accounted for the remaining turns. So that's 26 turns. So things are looking really, really bad. And I'm not, like I said in my description of the last video I posted, I'm a little pessimistic about being able to accomplish this. I'm still looking for a means to kill the perfect organism. It seems as simple as locating it and defeating it, but that's not the case. I've played this before, I know what happens. We need to keep Ash in the complex. We need to get rid of this guy because he double strikes. We have 2 empty spots, so we have a couple of turns here to try to figure out some strategy here to get through this. So let's go ahead and start the scout's turn. Scout has a couple grunts here. We have the deck thinner. We actually have 4 attack here. We've got the sergeant's coordinate, which was not actually a couple coordinates that weren't used. So I've got 5. I'm going to put the 5 recruitment points aside. We want to thin a deck. I think right now we should try to, let's see if we can thin the scout's deck. We could try the synthetic, but he has fewer cards left. So I'm going to try and thin the scout's deck. So let's go ahead and take a look here. It's a specialist. I'm getting lucky with the scout's draws. So once again, we've been able to thin the scout's deck out a little bit, getting rid of some of those early weak cards, especially the specialist cards are better to get rid of than the grunt cards, because at least the grunts provide some attack. Alright, so I have 5 attack. I'm sorry, I have 4 attack. That's not enough to kill that thing. Let's see if the synthetic had a coordinate card. He did not. So I still have to take 2 strikes. This could be the end for the scout. The scout is down to 2 health. He's going to have to pull 2 strikes. He's likely to die right now. What can I do? Oh, we need to do this. What can I do that can help the situation in any way? Well, there's not much the scout can do except with his 4 attack, which is scan that room and then die. He could use his recruitment points to buy a card, but since I'm pretty darn sure he's going to die, I don't feel like trying to purchase anything that's here, or purchase another sergeant or anything of that nature. And with 5 recruitment points, there are 4 here that are worth 6 I can't buy. I can only buy the deck thinner. And I may as well have the synthetic do it. So we may end up with the synthetic running solo here for the rest of the game. So, given that the scout is a goner, pretty darn sure he's a goner, since I did not get 6 attack, I am going to use 3 attack to scan the power station to find out what's there and sacrifice myself for the good of the cause. So let's see what's in the power station. It's an event. The event is to move the leftmost enemy or hidden card in the complex into the combat zone. Oh, well, that puts Ash here. So now Ash is in the combat zone. We'll discard our event card. Now I'm definitely going to die, but we're going to start from the right. We're going to follow the rules. We're going to start from the right, and we're going to do the double strike from the twin mouth xenomorph, and we're going to see what happens. I am not spending my recruitment points on any cards, because it would be a waste since the scout is very likely going to die here. So let's go ahead and pull our strikes. The scout has 2 health left right now. We're going to pull our first strike. Oh, it's a damaged hand. This is an interesting strike card, so ouch, that kind of hurts there. At the start of your turn, discard this and 2 random cards from your hand. So I'll lose 2 random cards from my next hand. Assuming that I survive, I still have to draw 2 more strikes. But we're going to put this here for a sec. And we're going to draw our second strike, which kills us. The scout is dead. Brutal puncture causes 3. This goes in the strike discards. All of these cards go in the discarded strikes designated area over here. And all of the scout's cards are gone from the game. So I will set the scout over here. In memoriam. So the scout is gone, the synthetic is on his own. It's time for the synthetic's turn. The synthetic didn't really have much he could do. He can heal a flesh wound, but he doesn't have a flesh wound. And he only has 3 attack and 2 recruitment. So we get to draw a card, and it's another one of these, which is really not helpful. I can't kill Ash at this point. Now that my partner is gone and coordinate is required to kill Ash, Ash is now unkillable. So with 4 attack, the best I can do, well, with 2 recruitment I can buy a deck thinner, so we could at least do that. I'm going to have to draw 3 strikes. With 4 attack I can scan the power station. It's the airlock controls. Now we're getting really close here. Unfortunately, we're not going to make it. And I only had 2 recruitment points. So this actually, I had a chance here to get Ash back into the combat zone here. So there's the airlock controls. Coincidentally enough, looks very much like the image of the airlock from the playmat. So when revealed, you attach it to the airlock. The airlock is still a clear room. While the room is clear, you can pay 3 recruitment points to move an enemy to this room. So you don't need the electric prod to push somebody into the complex. So we're now going to attach the airlock controls here. So why do we need these? Well, you'll find out when you see the perfect organism, if we survive to see it. I have a feeling we're going to die before we even get to the perfect organism. If we do, I will go through the hive deck and show you what the perfect organism is. The synthetic is going to have to take 3 strikes. The synthetic is just as the scout. He's down to 2 health. So we need to draw our first strike here. And it's a flesh wound. Unfortunately, Jonesy can't heal the flesh wound in the strike phase. He can only heal it during action when he was played. I have to draw a second. It's another flesh wound which kills the synthetic. So game over. Game over. The synthetic is dead. Grab his discard pile. I'm curious what his next hand would have looked like. We would have had repair the ship. We would have had It's a Damn Robot. We wouldn't have had the electric prod. But we would have had enough attack to kill the twin mouth xenomorph. And then we would have had recruitment points to push Ash into the airlock and clear the combat zone. Yeah, and that would have bought us a little bit of time, but unfortunately things went out of control really, really quickly. That's unfortunate. So our synthetic has died. I think I took the strike cards and dumped them in here. Just make sure I get all those strike cards out. Synthetic is dead. Well, it was an interesting game. There have been times when I've played the alien scenario with 2 players and died before even Ash came out because the 3rd hazard hit. And I believe I showed what the 3rd hazard was, which was the self-destruct, which meant that once the hazard reached the combat zone, essentially the ship blows up and everybody has to draw 3 strikes, which even that has happened to me before and I've survived long enough to win the game. But normally when that happens, the players get wiped. It's like a full wipe and everybody's taken out. Since we've lost the game, let's grab the Hive deck and look through and see what was upcoming. Okay, we had another Twin Mouth Xenomorph. Then we had a Xenomorph Lancetail. Then we had another Twin Mouth Xenomorph. Yeah, we were going to have to go through a lot before we could get where we wanted to go. There's another Twin Mouth Xenomorph. That Perfect Organism must be near the bottom. There he is. And then second to last card was the 3rd hazard, which was the one that was going to cause us trouble. But at least it would have entered the complex and we would have had a number of turns to pay the 8 recruitment to disable it. But Perfect Organism we had to deal with and Ash we had to deal with. So let me show you the Perfect Organism card. So there he is. He has double strike. And this is the important part right here. The Perfect Organism can't be killed unless he's in the airlock and the airlock controls are attached to that room. That's why there's an asterisk next to the 10 here, which means that this doesn't apply unless this is true. So then you can assemble 10 attack points through coordinating with your partner if you have a partner, or just being able to draw 10 attack points in one hand. Either the Perfect Organism is pushed into the airlock controls, in which case you can do it, or if you need to get him there to kill him, you spend the 3 recruitment points to push him there, whether he's here or in the combat zone, doesn't matter where he is. So this would have been the end of the game had he been killed. And that's it for the alien scenario. I don't think I'm going to try it again. I'll probably, the next time I do one of these, I will do the Aliens scenario. That's the 2nd movie. And we'll go through that one. I think now that the game is over, let's kind of look at the rare cards that we didn't see. So Ripley's rare card I showed you at the very beginning, before we started the game. And Parker's rare card was It's a Damn Robot, which came up and was purchased. And that was the Ash Killer card I was talking about. So Lambert's rare card is called Consult the Star Charts, and it allows you to draw 3 cards. Very powerful at getting through your deck and getting some cards in your hand so that you can do what you need to do. There's another one here that I don't think ever came up, the Teams of 3 card, which is an interesting one because Teams of 3 requires you to have played 2 cards with the Weyland-Yutani crew symbol, not just 1. So it relies on 2 cards being played. And then this allows you to look at the top card of the barracks, and if it's a character, then either gain it or put it on the bottom of the barracks. Why it says if it's a character, I don't know. There must be some reason why there might be a non-character card in the barracks. Alright, so finally, this is Captain Dallas's rare card called Mother's Advice. And this is him sitting in that chamber where he could speak to Mother over the computer. And you get to gain a character in the HQ into your hand. So, for free. So, grab one of these 6s. If there was another rare card sitting out there, you just grab it. The other advantage is that it explicitly says you gain it to your hand. It doesn't go into your discard pile. It goes directly into your hand and is usable. That's it for Legendary Encounters Alien, at least the first scenario. I am going to play Aliens next, the next time I play this, but I think I'm going to take a break from this game and we'll do a playthrough of one of my other solitaire games. I wish this had ended with a victory. It's too bad. It feels a little heartbreaking that we got so close and yet so far away from winning. But I still enjoyed the game. The game is a lot of fun to play. I love the theme. I feel really immersed in the universe here that this game is attempting to convey. Just a really enjoyable game. This is one of those games that I enjoy even when I lose. The favorite games on my list are those games that I can still enjoy when I lose the game. Some games are incredibly challenging. This game can be super challenging, and you're more likely to lose than win. But that doesn't matter to me. It reminds me kind of Arkham Horror. Arkham Horror is definitely in my top 5. Theme-wise, the 1920s Prohibition era investigators who are attempting to prevent an ancient evil from entering this universe and destroying everything. I love the theme of that game. It's basically Lovecraftian stories. But that's also a game where you are guaranteed to lose more than 50% of the time you play. And yet, I still love to play that game. I enjoy the experience. For the same reason I enjoyed the experience here. I'm going to go ahead and put all this up and conclude this playthrough. And I will choose a new game to do a playthrough of. We'll set it up and we'll start that one out. Thank you again for putting up with me through this series of playthroughs. I hope you enjoyed them, and if you did, then I ask that you please subscribe and like the videos that you actually enjoyed. Please feel free to share them as well. And I will see you again when I start my next playthrough. This is Wild Ones signing off.